Today I just want to make a quick guide on how to farm the highest item power weapons and items in the game. So with the release of Season 2 in Diablo 4, item power has been increased by 100, so it used to be 825, now it is going to be 925, so it's going to be very important for regardless of what build you play that you find the higher item power gear. So you can see here that I have a 923 Mad Wolf's Glee, I have a 925 helmet, I have a staff that's 911 item power, so that's pretty good. How did I get that stuff? Well, the answer is simple. I did Uber bosses. So the first Uber boss you can do is Varshan. He's located right here. The way you do it is you go and you complete whispers. My preferred way of doing it is I always did the blood harvest whispers because I wanted to level up my vampire powers, so it was pretty easy to kind of get a 2-for-1 special on that. So, focusing on blood harvest was cool, but just doing whispers, you're going to get body parts. So, first one you're going to get is, so you can get gurgling head, you can get blackened femur, you can get trembling hands. You need one of each of these to summon him on World Tier 3. On World Tier 4, you're going to need one additional one. It's called the Malignant Heart. It looks exactly like one of the Wrathful Malignant Hearts from Season 1. And that's going to allow you to summon him on World Tier 4. He is going to be level 55 on World Tier 3. He's going to be level 75 on World Tier 4. And I think I want to say he actually scales with your level, but if you're below 75, he's going to be 75. So, that being said, he's not too difficult. He has 3 different attacks. The first thing, well, I guess 3 different stages, or I'd say it's actually more like 2 different stages. So he's going to summon ads right off the bat. You kill the ads. If he absorbs the ad, it's going to empower his attacks for a little bit, so he's going to hurt a little bit more. Keep in mind you need poison resistance because he does have a pretty nasty poison attack, and if you do not have poison resistance, you are definitely liable to just die to it. Now keep in mind, if you have barriers, you can very much easily just barrier out of it if you have easy access to barriers, so it's really not that big of a deal. But if you don't have access to barriers and you can't insta-cleanse the poison, you're going to have a bad time if you don't have poison resistance, believe me. I know because I have Earthen Bulwark, but unfortunately it's on a 16-second cooldown. So, yes, poison resistance. But now, that's just the first boss, right? So he does that gnarly attack, summons ads that you want to kill, and then he's going to stand in the middle of the room and he's going to do a patterned wave attack, and that's really it. That's all there is to the fight. And he's kind of tanky, so you definitely want to have a little bit of damage, but you might go into it with a group or something like that, just to try to make it a little bit easier. Now, I was doing it with one other person at first, so it wasn't too bad. The next one is going to be the Galvanic Saint. So he is located over here in the Hall of the Penitent. The way that you get the stuff for him is you go do Hell Tides. Now, this kind of sucks because obviously Hell Tides is not up all the time. However, this boss is extremely easy in my opinion. I think it's probably easier than Varshan. It looks very intimidating because he does a lot of lightning attacks, but really, I don't know. I never really felt like I was in that much danger when I was fighting him. He's just really tanky. If you just stand out of the lightning, you'll be fine. But anyways, so in order to summon him, what you have to do is farm 300 Helltide Shards or Helltide Cinders, and then you're going to run around and you're going to look for a dude. It's a big demon that is inside of a bubble that is channeling on a chest called He Who Grins and Waits. Alright, it's honestly a little hard to find sometimes, but what me and my friend have found is that it changes just like a mystery chest. So for example, if he is on the top side, right, and you find him, at the change of an hour, he is going to respawn, but he's going to be on the bottom side. Now, obviously, I can't confirm this. We haven't done a ton of testing, but this seems to be the case. Most of the times when we found him, when we were looking for him, it was always he was on the opposite side of where we found him last at the change of an hour, similar to a mystery chest. And also similar to a mystery chest, he does not pop up on your map until you get somewhat close to him. But believe me, you will not miss it when you see him. He's going to be standing next to the chest. To get him out of the bubble, you just click on the chest, you kill him, and then you can open the chest and you'll get this stuff called Living Steel. You need 2 Living Steel, and you get 3 of these per chest, by the way. So it requires 2 in World Tier 3 and 5 in World Tier 4. Okay, and also I have noticed specifically Grigor has much more of a proclivity to drop multiple legendaries. I don't know what it is. So the thing is he might not have the uniques you need or something like that. Because keep in mind, this is also the best way to farm uniques as well. So like if you want to like target farm certain uniques, or you need certain uniques, you know, this is definitely pretty solid, unless you're looking for a Temp Destroyer, because RIP, that's on Duriel, and Duriel's level 100. So sorry about that, Temp Destroyer players. Yeah, that's still going to be rough to get. Anyways, but I digress. So yeah, so that's how you're going to do that. Go in there. So for that boss, you're going to need lightning resistance. So lightning resistance is going to be the most important thing there, and then also armor. So because he has, you know, he does do kind of a heavy hitting attack. He's just a typical one of those, what are they called? I don't know, just one of those typical knights you see, one of those penitent knights, that crazy gear where it like freaking like stabs into their body whenever they wear it. Just a big one of those things. That's all it is. He does a bunch of lightning attacks. He's going to make a bunch of lightning helix pillars around the room, and then occasionally he's going to turn it into like a maze where you can only walk a certain way, and if you try to walk through it, it's going to bounce you back. Again, really nothing too crazy. And then he has some AoE lightning attacks you need to dodge. That's about it. But just make sure you have your lightning resist capped out when you fight him, and you should be fine. That's going to be the main thing with these Ubers, is just making sure you have the proper resistance. Now, the last one that I would recommend doing, so there is an honorable mention here, and it's going to be the Beast in the Ice. I don't recommend doing this one because it's level 85 plus. You have to do at least a tier 30 just to get the ingredients for this. So you're trying to get the gear to be able to do the tier 30, right? So I wouldn't recommend this one as like a farm for gear, but it does have certain uniques. Like for example, if you're looking for Storm's Companion, that is on its loot table, so you want to make sure you do that. But the last one is going to be Lord Zir. Lord Zir is very straightforward. So you have you have this Legion event, and you have world bosses. You do these, you get Exquisite Blood. I think the Legion events will drop 1 Exquisite Blood, and then the world bosses will drop 3 or 4 Exquisite Blood. So you need 9, I believe, on World Tier 4 to do it, and then I think so I think it's just 9 regardless of like what tier you're on. It's always just going to be 9. So, but after you do that, you head on over to the Fractured Peaks, and you're going to go into the Darkened Way, and you'll be able to summon him in there. Now, I don't recommend doing Lord Zir for unique farming unless he is the only Uber that does it at the time, because he has a very large loot table, it seems. So like for example, Lord Zir does drop Great Staff of the Crone, but the issue is that he also drops 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he has 5 Druid uniques, and on top of that he has 3 general uniques. So he has a loot table of 8. So if I'm in there looking for this, I'm going to have the least chance of getting it off this guy. But if you go, for example, to Varshan, Varshan also drops Great Staff of the Crone. But guess what? He only has 2 generals. So that means he has 5 on his loot table versus 8. So if you are target farming, be cognizant of the loot table size, so you can make sure you're doing the right boss for the thing that you're trying to get. Like for example, I think sorcerers are looking. Some of them use like the Ice Heart Braze, but at the same time, I think that one might be the only one that does that one. Oh no, Raiment of the Infinite was the one I was thinking of. So like Raiment of the Infinite, it's kind of the same deal. You have to deal with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have 8 here. You go up to like Varshan, and you only have to deal with 5 again, right, to get the Raiment of the Infinite, right? So just keep in mind stuff like that. But there are going to be some items, like it looks like Ice Heart Braze, you're kind of screwed no matter what. Looks like both the bosses kind of have a lot, but I guess it's not too bad maybe if you do this one, because this guy only has like 4. See, I guess this guy only has a loot table of 4, so never mind, take it back. Even if you want to get like the Ice Heart stuff, yeah, you'll be able to get it off Gregor a lot easier than you're going to get it off Lord Zir. Lord Zir just seems to have a huge loot table, so not really that great for farming uniques in my opinion, but the other 2 are pretty good and not too bad. But in terms of farming gear, you can do any of them. So I mean, if you have the Exquisite Blood, go ahead and give it a shot. And make sure that you have your resistances and stuff on check. I'm not sure what resistance you would need for Lord Zir. It didn't seem. I think it was. I want to say it was shadow resistance, but it didn't seem like he was doing a crazy amount of elemental damage. Although I might be crazy about that. I think I only did that boss once, because once I saw his loot tables, I was like, okay, I don't think I'm going to do that one anymore. My recommendation, I've done Varshan and Grigor like multiple times now. And keep in mind as well, when you do these Uber bosses, it's also going to give you the stuff to summon Duriel. So you need Mucus Slicked Eggs, and then you're also going to need Shard of Agonies. So you take these down over here, and that's how you're going to summon Duriel to farm the Uber Uniques, but don't try that until you're like level 100 or at least way geared, right? But anyways, yeah, that's going to be the best way to farm high item power gear as well as Uniques. And you can just go to this like Game Leap website, or I think Maxroll might have it if you're looking for the actual loot tables. Unfortunately for Tempest Roar users, yikes, it falls off of Duriel only. That's just why, I don't know, why did they, I just don't get why they did that. I'm gonna be real, but anyway, anyways, yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe if you want to see more. I'll see you next time. Thanks.